Alright, I'm going to make this video about Tim Tebow. Oops. Okay. Woo, light. Anyway, this is my opinion. Originally, when Tim Tebow was drafted, I was actually kind of against Tim Tebow. I was like, okay, there's way too much hype on this kid. And I don't think I really started liking Tim Tebow until the second season. And the reason why was because all of a sudden I started seeing these supposed experts not only say that, he's overhyped and stuff, they were saying stuff like that this kid can't even play in the NFL, that he's not good enough to be an everyday starter. I'm like, wait a minute, he did play 2 games, or like a couple games, maybe more than 2, but he played a couple games with the Broncos the season before, and he wasn't that bad. He actually was decent, and all of a sudden he's like, no, he can't play. His throwing motion is off. I'm like, all of a sudden I saw like the swing. At first it was like, oh, too much Tebow hype, and then then it swung back this way, and it's like, he sucks. And they were like over exaggerating his not his ability as not to be able to play in the NFL, and I was like, okay. And after that I started being a Tebow fan because I felt like he was getting unjustly criticized because I felt he was better than they were making him out to be. And so as the season has progressed, they got rid of Orton and then brought in Tebow, and he's amazingly enough has brought the Broncos to 6-1, and until the last game, people were saying that he would not, this wouldn't work, long run, that he's not, long run as a starter, that he could not be a starter long run. And then I think it changed. After this week, I think people are still saying, yeah, he's overrated and stuff. But what they're not saying is this, they're not finally, it took him 7 games this year, but finally, a 6-1 record and a 149.3 QB rating to finally get people to say, you know what? Yes, he's good enough to be a starter in the NFL. I think he has finally proven his haters wrong. I'm saying that even most of his haters now, after the game that he had, finally have to admit, you know what? He can start, and he can start long term, not just for a few games. He can start for like 2, for whoever knows how long. Because if you look at, who are they comparing him now to? Vince Young. Last time I checked, that's the haters are. They're like, oh, is Vince Young a good QB? Well, last time I checked, Vince Young played in 59 games as a QB. So right there, that was a guy that was good enough to be a QB. And why did he get, again, not as many games? Because Vince Young doesn't really have the greatest attitude in the world. Tim Tebow has a really, really, really good attitude and a really good personality and seems to have a leadership quality to him. So Tim Tebow, if you're going to compare him to Vince Young, right there is a guy that actually was good enough to be a starter for an extended period of time, and his personality is nowhere near as good as Tim Tebow's. And so my whole point is that I think he proved the haters wrong, dude. And I know there's still haters like, oh, he's not, proving the haters wrong was never about being a great QB, in my mind. I thought for him to prove the haters wrong, all he had to do was prove that he could be a starting quarterback, and he did that. And so in my mind, after this last game, I think he has finally proven the haters wrong. And even if Denver, for some reason, says, you want to forget you, Tim Tebow, we don't want you back next year, there will be like at least 4 or 5 teams that will be like, you know what, we would like Tim Tebow to be our starting QB for next season. And we do have faith in him. And so I think that he finally has proven himself worthy enough to be a starting QB long term, not just for this season, but the season after and the season after. And I guess that's just it. And you guys have a great day.